So here we are today with Hanna.
Hi.
And the dogs. You
Yeah.
can't see the dogs yet, but
I'm sure
you might
they'll
see
come.
them later. Who are the dogs?
Felix and Blue.
Felix and Belush. Can we see the dogs?
No.
No. Okay, well, we'll see the dogs later.
You can see
Come
one.
back to us then. Okay, so I wanted to make this movie because Language Gym isn't just about grammar. It's also about reading simplified novels. And I was having a walk back home with Hanna, and she said to me that she was pleased that she could read the book. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. Very pleased.
So do you want to show the viewers at home the book?
So this is the book. Ziemlich, beste, Freunde.
Yeah? Do you want to read something from it?
Sure.
Cool.
How do I read that crazy sentence that you made me repeat like 5 times?
Okay.
Dann merke ich, dass ich mich nicht bewegen kann. Ich werde weiter ohnmächtig.
Wieder.
Wieder.
Yeah.
Werde wieder ohnmächtig.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
That sounds pretty good. What does it mean?
It says, then I notice that I cannot move.
Ah, cannot move.
Yes.
So what was your experience of learning German before you started working with Language Gym? And how do you feel about the book and the process of reading?
Sure. So before, I've never done any sort of intensive course, which I know a lot of expats do, the 5 days a week, 5-6 hours a day. So I just had another sort of private tutor, but she was German and kept saying things to me like, I would say, why is it like this? And she goes, it just is. And I really despise this answer. So I think originally your program, the fact that you're not natively German speaking,
No, I'm
and you
not.
could come at it from an English speaking perspective and something that recognizes patterns and logic, which really helps for my style of learning. And then the book has also been great to read because, of course, the first time I look at these pages, I have no idea what it says. And then you have the Quizlets, which highlights all the main nouns and verbs to learn. And again, first time I do that test, I got no idea. I don't know anything, maybe like 2 or 3 that I've just picked up randomly. And yeah, after about a half hour to an hour of doing them again and again, I start to understand what the words mean. And then I read through the book and it starts to really make sense. I understand what's going on.
Do you mind showing to people how you've coloured up your book?
Sure. So this is my colourful book. The chapters, as you can see, are quite short. So this is a whole chapter. And then I've gone through, and pink is nouns and blue is verbs. So these are generally the words that I have learned via the Quizlet computer. And then we read in class, and Peter goes through all the words that sort of aren't in there and how they come together and pull together the sentence.
We also have mind maps. Do you use those or not?
Yes, I have used those a couple of times. They're really good to sort of see the words before you even do the Quizlet test, and I translate them via the internet.
So, like, the idea is not to do task switching. Do you know what I mean by task switching?
Yeah, so not to do this and then go back and this again. And
Yeah, like when you're reading and you come across a word, you don't know what it is, so then you look it up and then you come back and read again, and then you find another word, you look it up, you come back and you read again, and then you've forgotten what the first word is,
Exactly.
and you incur this overhead every time you switch from one task to the next.
Right.
But we don't do that with Quizlet, so do you find that it means that you can read more easily?
Yes. So I would never read this first and then go back and forth, because it's time consuming enough to read through, and then, like you said, you would forget what one thing says to the next. So basically I test all these words that are in the mind maps and the quizzes, and then I come back to read, and that's when it sort of all comes together and I go, oh, I actually know what this means.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good feeling, yeah?
It's a very good feeling. Yeah, I've told people that I can't speak Deutsch, but I can read it.
Well, soon you'll be speaking.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, would you like to read a bit more for us?
Sure.
Wir landen auf dem Dach des Krankenhauses. Man schiebt mich schnell durch durch die Gänge. Alle möglichen Leute wollen mit mir reden. Schluss jetzt, es eilt, sagt ein Mann. Sagt ein Mann?
Sagt ein Mann.
Ja, es muss der Chirurg sein. Er wird mich operieren.
Er wird mich operieren. Yeah. How do you say that word there?
Gänge.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us what it means?
So it says we land on the roof of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Someone pushes me quickly through the aisles. All kinds of people want to talk to me. Enough now. It's urgent, says a man. He must be my surgeon. He will operate on me.
Exactly.
Generally,
Yeah,
that's what it says.
yeah. So how do you feel about the role of reading in your learning journey?
I really enjoy the reading because the classes on grammar are really good, but it's nice to then apply them to something that's more real life, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not that the examples aren't real life, but I think when you read it, it comes together in a less, like, easier, the man says this or blah blah blah, whereas here you really have to apply what you've already learned to understand the sentence.
Do you think it's important that the book is interesting?
Yes, otherwise it's boring.
Yeah, because it's a real novel and it's simplified, yeah?
Yes.
And so it gives you the sense of accomplishment.
Right.